Okay. Hello, Bianca Todd, Northampton branch. I am for the Safer Spaces policy and I'm for the amendment. And let me just tell you why, is that whilst I don't think that any policy that we have in Left Unity is 100% perfect, I think that what Felicity said at the very beginning, which is let's look at how long and how many people have been involved in doing this. So the accusations of not accountability, not involvement are just not true. Now, I'm not saying that the Safe Spaces policy has been fantastic right from the very beginning, because I've been part of that. I've travelled around the country supporting comrades with my own subjective view. I understand that whole thing. However, every policy is subjective. That's the problem with being human. However, what we have to do is we have a commitment to do something and to adapt it long term. The work that has gone into this policy has been immense. It has been long. Different caucuses, different branches have gone through it. So the disappointing thing for me is that when we talk about doing politics differently, what prevented all of us working together to do this together? That's the sad part of it. I've heard a lot of arguments and a lot of anger today in the room about this particular thing. It was always going to be controversial, as all politics is, as what I'm learning. However, can I remind us to look for what unites us, look to the fact that we need to do things differently. The disputes thing, maybe we could have done that composite earlier. Maybe that would have been a better thing. However, sometimes in life, you take an opportunity. And maybe an opportunity came up. And I trust the people who wrote the policy. I trust the disputes. And I think that actually, if they think it can work better together, we should be having our confidence in them. What's the point of voting for these people to be in positions and then taking away their power every time? So I urge you to give this amendment and the Safer Spaces policy your full backing.
Finish now, please.
Simon Hardy, Lambeth branch. I just do want to start with a point about the process that happened this morning. I think that was very problematic to turn up with this composite presented to us. To be honest, it is an access issue, which is ironic it's coming in the safer space part of the agenda, because we're, like, tempers get frayed precisely because people are having meetings and then suddenly things are on the agenda and, I mean, obviously Congress voted to do what it wanted to do, but I think that is an issue. To be honest, I think it's worse with the composite because, a bit like some of the other previous comrades have said, B3 on page 102, that is a very problematic thing to say. We want to build a mass left party in Britain. We will recruit people who initially are sexist, are homophobes, are racist. Now, I'm not saying sort of, oh, that's fine, then we'll just leave them be. Of course not. We want to educate them. We want to win them over. We want to bring them, to the left so that they can join us fully as comrades. But this prescriptively says they will face automatic termination of their membership. I think that is a problem. The final thing I just want to say is about this discussion. I think there's a lot of truths on both sides, and comrades need to hear what some people are saying. I was active in the NUS. I have seen the left have its political arguments shut down by NUS bureaucrats from the Labour Party and right-wing organisations using safe space to try and stop political debate. Now, I'm not saying, don't misquote me, I'm not saying that is what people's intentions are. I'm not saying that is what the core of this document is trying to do. What I'm saying is that people that are raising criticisms of safe space, it is coming from a legitimate place, okay? Now, that is, a point that's made. However, we do need to discuss ways that we can work together as comrades and build up a culture in the organisation. Because one of the main things that seems to be damaging left unity at the moment isn't big political divisions, isn't huge political rows, it's the internal culture in the organisation where people seem to be falling out with each other. Disputes is the most overworked committee in the organisation. That's what we need to be talking about. Thank you.
Is it on? Okay. All right. Hi, Susan Pashkoff, Waltham Forest, Left Unity. Closer. Okay, sorry. Susan Pashkoff, Waltham Forest, Left Unity. Okay? Can you hear me? Shite. Sorry about that. Okay. Susan Pashkoff, Waltham Forest, Left Unity. Okay. First of all, I do agree there was problems with the late composition. The problem that happened is that the original motion from the Disputes Committee was not on the agenda. So when it was put on the agenda, To try to forestall problems, they try to composite it. This is what happened. But that's besides the point. This is besides the point. What I wanted to talk about is respond to some of the points that have been raised. This is not an amendment for policing, okay? We live and we are conditioned by the societies in which we live. So, sexism, racism, homophobia, ableism are a part of the societies in which we live. These are not going to go away. So we need to start to practice before we hit socialism and say, oh yes, it's all going to be gone. Guess what? It's not going to be gone. We're just going to keep the same damn things going on again because this is the societies in which we're living. So unless we begin to challenge, unless we start trying to build something more prefiguratively, to use the term, all right, we will not be able to change anything. Do we not do reforms if they're possible within a society? Do we not fight for them? Or are we going to wait for socialism forever? All right, because quite honestly, there are things and forms of behavior that okay, that's incredibly rude. Don't sit there and do that. Okay. Sitting there waving your
not heckle, please.
Okay, I mean, I'm sorry about that. That was just incredible. Okay. So unless we get rid of the baggage that we're carrying with us, unless we begin to look at how we're behaving to each other in respectful and comradely manner, we're going to constantly keep on behaving the same way. Sexism is normal in our society. It seems misogyny is as well. Okay, I'm looking at the US and they're questioning what rape is. So we need to be aware of behaviors and we have to be cognizant of that. And we have to teach each other and support each other. Thank you.
Yeah, but you could, it'd be better not to heckle in the first place.
We good? We're good. Hi, Ruth Cashman, Lambeth. Is this microphone close enough to my mouth? Right. Speaking against the composite, and specifically B3 in the composite, which is the automatic expulsion for people for sexism, homophobia, racism. Terry's right that we live in a distorted and distorting society. Susan's right that sexism is in our society and in ourselves. But that's the reason that it is in our organisation, and it will be on the left, and we will have to engage with people with sexist, racist and homophobic views. If you say you would automatically expel someone for sexism, what you're saying is you only want to recruit the pure, the people who already have our full politics. And it's actually an idea that we cannot win the argument. It's an idea that we can't convince people not to be sexist. Have confidence in yourself. Have confidence in yourself when you go out and talk to people and say, we can fight sexism. We can fight homophobia. We can fight racism. And we don't have to hide from it.
Okay.